Hey Gauge fans, it's Joe with another video. Haven't posted a video in a while, been kind of busy, and in a minute I'll show you why. What you're seeing in here is this is the track plan I've decided to go with. Yes, I've made another change. But basically I've got a loop of track around here with a couple of sidings, two reversing loop, double reversing loop, kind of a dog bone, with siding here, and a long siding right here. Okay? That's the track plan I've decided to go with. If you guys have never used or I'm sure many of you have, the RealTrax program that comes with a lot of the MTH sets. I'm not even sure where I got this one, but I think it actually came with my Mohawk set. But anyway, if you've never used that, this is a great program for laying out track and figuring out how much you need, even figuring out how much it might cost you. But yeah, I found it very good because you can actually move stuff around. You can measure with it and stuff like that. Let you know how much clearance you have around your layout. As you build it, you could measure the distance between the tracks and everything like that. But anyway, I'm hoping you can see it there. That's the track plan I've decided to go with. Now, I've started doing it. Let me get this out of the way. What you see here, let me back out a little bit, is, I guess you could call it phase one. Okay, what I've done here is, that green stuff is 1/4 inch thick house wrap that I had. I had this stuff laying around in my garage from a home project from a few years ago. I have about 10 sheets of it, and I took 2 sheets of it and decided to cut it up and use it to dent and sound. Something I've never done. This is kind of what it looks like. It's like 1/4 inch thick, silver on one side, green. What's nice about it is it's got these measuring blocks on it, 1/4 inch or 1 inch square blocks on it. It kind of helps a little bit, when you're doing it. But anyway, I've covered the whole layout with that stuff, and I've put down my first loop of track. This is the RealTrax that I'm going to be using. If you've seen one of my other videos when I was talking about the track systems, and I talk about how MTH changed the track systems, changed the RealTrax a little bit, I'll get into that in a minute. But I got to tell you, I am really impressed. I have this thing hooked up right now. I'm going to run this for you in a second. One large loop of track here, one lock-on, right there. This is the only power source going to the track. Using a Z transformer, I think it's an 80-watt transformer. Okay? That one lock-on, that one power source, is running that engine. I have the Mohawk hooked up to it right now. I'm going to go ahead and start this up at about 30% power. And I'm going to go ahead and start it. That's at about 30% power. Nice and smooth, nice and slow. That thing will go around the entire layout at that power with just that power source. I don't have any jumper wires hooked up. I don't have the wires going to another section of track to even out the power a little bit. Maybe it's because I'm using the MTH engines. I know the MTH engines a little bit more sophisticated with with their speed control and things like that, or maybe it's just because I'm using all MTH products. I don't know, but I got to tell you, I am really impressed that that thing is going to go around that entire layout at that speed. Now I don't see myself running any slower than that. Probably be running a little bit faster, but all my engines are going around at a nice, slow, easy clip at about 30 miles an hour. I'm not having any power issues whatsoever. My switches are throwing, they throw just fine. Plenty of power for my switches. I've got a MTH operating track section right here. I'm using that as an uncoupler, no problem. Then I've got the Lionel uncoupler right here with the 2 track adapters, 5-inch track adapters on each side. This thing you do have to, when you have some of the operating cars parked on it, you do have to kind of up the power a little bit to get them to work, but I expected that. I'm going to have another one of these on the inside loop and another one of these on the inside dog bone loop. But yeah, I'm really impressed with how well this is running. Like I said, I put the house wrap on, and what I did was with the house wrap is if you can see those black marks right there, what I did was, right there, those black marks, when I cut the sections together, I taped them together with this stuff here, this black, kind of like duct tape. It's called Gorilla Tape. That's one strong tape if you've ever used it. Really, really good. But anyway, got a little trestle over there on the right. Picked that up the other day. I like that trestle because it's a color I'd never seen. Kind of looks like rust. I may decide to do a little lake or something like that underneath there by cutting into the foam, maybe adding the Woodland Scenics realistic water, or I might buy one of those plastic sheets that you cut up that looks like rippling water. I don't know. That's a little bit down the road yet, but I do plan on getting the next loop in as soon as possible. I do have to buy most of the track for the inside, but that's not a problem. There is a time limit on this, guys. I'm gonna pan here back and forth here real quick. Look at this. Look at the mess here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the mess here. You see that? Look at this. Look at my control panel. I'm gonna be doing a new one. That's nothing. But I got this table over here, all my junk on it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. And there's a time limit on this stuff because if I don't get this stuff done in the next like 2 weeks, my wife's gonna kill me. So the next thing will be is next weekend I'm going to be taking all the track off, painting it, painting this foam stuff, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle the flocking on. I have a bunch of different colored flockings. I'm going to mix them all together to get a nice blend, and then while the paint's still wet, I'll sprinkle the flocking on so it sticks. I think that's what I'm going to do next. Now, originally what I wanted to do, like in the back there where the train's going over now, I wanted to use the Woodland Scenics inclines and risers and kind of rise that up about 4 inches. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, guys, because I can't get back there, and I really can't get up on top of the layout without damaging that foam insulation there, because this is not the extruded styrofoam like the pink or the blue stuff. This is more traditional styrofoam. It's a little bit denser than the stuff you would get like in packing material and stuff like that. It's a little bit thicker and denser than that, but it is it does leave marks. It'll leave impressions in it, you know, kind of easily. You know what I mean? So I want to be careful not to do that. So I think I'm probably going to end up keeping it flat, which is fine. I had no problem with that. I'm really looking forward to getting the inside dog bone loop on. I think it's going to look great. I'm really impressed with the way this real track is. I'm really impressed with how well all my engine. Now, I've had 6 or 7 cars hooked up to that engine, pulling it around, no problem. I had the sound turned down on the engine, but again, one power source, and it's not a really powerful power source. One power source hooked up to the track, and I'm getting that much power out of it that it's pushing that train around the track at a nice, even, steady clip, and I'm really, really impressed with it. If you've seen one of my earlier videos when I'm comparing the different track systems, where MTH went to a hollow rail track, this is all hollow rail, with the exception of possibly one of the switches. I think one of the switches is the old style. Anyway, there is, in my opinion, a significant difference between the solid rail and the newer hollow rail. The solid rail, the inner rail, the middle rail, it's thinner and it's all black, whereas this newer stuff, the middle rail is the same size as the 2 outer rails, and they blackened the sides and kept the top the nice copper or brass color, whatever you want to call it. So much so that the only stuff I'm going to be buying is the newer stuff. I think it looks better, I think it looks nicer, so I'm going to be sticking with the hollow rail. And it's a problem for me because a lot of my local hobby centers don't have a lot of this track right now in stock. The one that does is kind of far away, but I may be taking a trip down there in the next week or two because I would like to get that inner loop done in the next week or two. Obviously, I'm shooting this in late September right now. The holidays are coming up. The plan is to have this done by Thanksgiving, or somewhere within a week or two after Thanksgiving, so I was ready for the holidays, for Christmas and stuff like that. But, yeah, I, again, am impressed with MTH products. I wish I discovered them years ago. I really do like... I'm a big fan of MTH, but I'm still a huge fan of Lionel, but I'm a big fan of this MTH stuff. So, sorry about that. Let me know what you think. Shoot me some comments, and thanks for watching.